not only Lincoln's newest brewery, but they're also now serving food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their peanut butter and jelly burger with bacon and cheddar cheese, or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. Don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular single-axle light American lager. Salt Mine City, now open 11 a.m. every day but Mondays at 8th and R.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Your new Total Wine in Lincoln has the largest selection of wines, spirits, and beers, plus totally low prices and friendly service from our helpful guides. With over 8,000 wines, 4,500 spirits, and 2,500 beers, you're sure to find your favorites and something new. You can even order delivery, in-store, or curbside pickup. Find what you love what you find, only at Total Wine and More. Now open in Lincoln next to Gateway Mall.
Drink responsibly, B21.
You know the saying, April showers bring May flowers. Well, it's true for heart health, too. Sprinkling in a few small changes can make a big impact on your heart health. Try adding a vegetable to your dinner or no salt seasoning. Looking for support in making these changes? Join a workshop to learn more about a healthy lifestyle. Search Chronic Disease Nebraska for more details. Paid for by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is On the Block with Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer, Jay Foreman. Middle school basketball coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Welcome in. A happy Thursday to you and yours. Thanks for being along for this little ditty that we love to call On the Block. I'm Austin Orman with you here at 1040 O Street. Joining me remotely for the first hour of the show, we got East Drake. Jay Foreman will be along before too long. He'll join me for old school as well. Let's bring him in. Husker Hall of Famer, 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland, skipping out on a Thursday. What's up, bro? Come on.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had a previous event for this evening, and then with WTF this evening, it was going to make things tight. And actually, I'm not even going to be able to do WTF, which is another part of the love that I have here on 93.7 The Ticket and working with my best friend, Cluster Johnson. I'm not even going to be able to do that because of the previous thing. So, I love Uncle Kevin. I would love to be there for you guys to celebrate. I'm sure he'll bring a white wine today or something because, it'll just probably work out that way. If it's a good red, I'm going to be disappointed, but all to the good. I'll see you guys tomorrow, though. I'll be in studio.
Let's not pretend like you didn't like the last white wine you brought in. That was some good stuff.
It was actually really good. I was actually impressed, and I was pretty surprised. I'm not big on the white, but that was, the white wine. That was pretty good. It really was good.
You and me and Jay and pretty much everyone here at The Ticket is big on the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. They are not hard to find. They got 3 Lincoln locations and 1 up in Omaha. Here in Lincoln, they are located at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and 85th and Old Cheney. Up in Omaha, they're 160th and Maple. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town. 402-464-5685 if you want to be a part of any of our discussions here during On the Block. Shirky, this came out some new rules in college football. I think these are interesting to go over. One of them that we've touched on a little bit on this show that's getting changed is the injury timeout, the stopping play due to injury rule. The Playing Rules Committee, I think is what's called, Playing Rules Oversight Panel, has ratified, approved some changes to injury timeout rules for this coming year, not next year in 26, for 25. So coming this fall, we'll have all these new rules in place. So the new rule is this: if medical personnel are forced to enter the field of play to evaluate an injured player after the ball is spotted by the officiating crew, the player's team will be charged a timeout. If that team doesn't have any remaining timeouts, a 5-yard delay of game penalty will be assessed to that team. Your thoughts on that rule just initially?
As I look at it initially, obviously there's things that we've talked about that need to be addressed. There were some concerns that obviously we've had as well regarding some things with different issues that have happened throughout the year. The NCAA is kind of flailing and fumbling and trying to figure things out. Whether this moves the needle, I think that's something to be questioned. We knew they had to do something, but I think there's ways to enhance it. Maybe this is just kind of going a little bit hard to see the effect that it would have. And maybe sometimes in situations, Austin, you want to go extra hard. And, it's like in a negotiation, right? In a negotiation, if you're trying to get to a specific point, sometimes you might go way on the other side of the negotiation just so that once it comes back to yourself, the closer you get to wherever it's at, or you minimize the change, then it just leaves a lot more wiggle room for people to do some funky stuff. And everybody's always trying to figure out a way to one-up it or get the advantage out of it. So if you go real hard on it, maybe you curve a lot of the strategy that's involved in it. It's tougher to mitigate the change. But we don't know how this is going to play out, how it'll work. I think it's very subjective, and sometimes there's just real injuries that's going to be the balance that we're going to have to weigh out and see how it plays.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I do think it's important to note that this rule, right, charging a team a timeout or the delay of game penalty if they don't have a timeout, is only after the ball has been spotted for the next play. And I assume that means, that the ref has walked away, because a lot of the taking a dive, the fake injuries that, most coaches would call out are against some up-tempo, high-speed offenses, right? If a player, say an offensive lineman, right, gets rolled up on in the course of play, or let's say a wide receiver gets walloped over the middle by a safety on a pass like that, they will still be in the clear to bring the medical team out and not be charged a timeout, right? Those situations where a player is more than likely in need of actual medical attention should still be fine. It's the ones where a team wants to go fast, so you get your defensive play call in, oh crap, we're not lined up, and a player takes a dive on the field. The ref sees it and stops the game. Or you follow a man, in motion from one side of the field to the other. You hear your coach yelling, get down, go down, something like that. You fall down, you fake a cramp, medical team comes out. It's essentially a free timeout for you. That's what this rule is really trying to curb and to combat. And I will say, it doesn't strike me as that big a deal. I don't know how popular, how common this situation was. Apparently common enough that the rules committee felt the need to do something about it. But I guess my question for you then is, you kind of touched on this, is the use of a timeout or a delay of game penalty if you don't have a timeout, do you think that's a fair punishment for faking an injury, getting your team a free timeout, stopping the game after the ball's been spotted?
Well, I don't know if I can speak to the fairness of the penalty, because it's yet to see the effect that it would have on the game. But I think you could have slow played this in to test it, to see if the integrity of the coaches, of the programs, or whatever would be intact. I think you could have implemented this second quarter going into the half and in the final. I don't care if you. I think the time would dictate. No, I'm not going to say the final 2 minutes. I'm not going to say that. You could probably, move it up to maybe 5 minutes in the half and in the game if you see those type of things begin to happen, because that's when the importance of it starts to take place. Or something can trigger it to be affected outside of those last 5 minutes. I'm just going to say 5 minutes. After those last 5 minutes, right? Meaning a team is getting their head bust in and they spend their timeouts quickly to where now they're out of timeouts, right? And that's in any part of the game. So now if you start to see this happen, you get one warning. Mm-hmm. So if somebody does it, you get a warning. So now you're on notice. And then if you then do it thereafter to where, you're like, you can then implement the penalty. Oh, you don't have no timeouts. Now, the 5 yards, I think it should be a little bit more heavy. I think it should be maybe 10.
Free first down, essentially, is what you're saying.
Free first down or negative. You now first and 18 or second and 18 or whatever. Now it's a little bit harder. So I think those things could maybe make it, you can kind of ease it in to where it's not just a cookie cutter type of situation. It's still discretionary at the end of the day. But I think that way you can then put the onus on the program or the coach or the team to operate in an integral manner. You see what I'm saying? Now, if you don't, then there's penalties that may ensue. If you're bad coaching, not bad. I'm not going to say it's bad coaching, but if you're coaching and you're having a bunch of hiccups in the game that cost yourself timeouts, trying to find out other ways to get you that time, that's when the penalties can kick for you.
First thing I have for you is that warning that you mentioned. If they were to adopt your system, would you want that warning announced by the head official or by the PA announcer, or are you saying just have the official kind of have a conversation with the coach on the side? Hey, coach, here's your warning. Don't do it again.
Similar to probably what you do in basketball. In basketball, they have a thing where they go, that tells you, that flop warning is in place. Yeah, I think you announce it. I think you put everybody on. You put it on notice. That way, if it does happen again, and there is a penalty that's in infraction that's put out, everybody knows it. It's not like, what? Wait. You're not gonna have vloggers and bloggers and everybody on the internet going crazy about it's rigged, or anything like that, right? So at least there's a notice as to what's about to ensue.
Funny you bring up the flop rule. I think that's the perfect comparison. And John and Cortland on our Starter Heyman Jewelers text line went the same direction. The flop was pretty well dealt with in basketball. I think it's an easy penalty. Do you think that the flop warning has been effective for the game of basketball?
Again, everybody's going to test the fringes of it. So in full, no, but guys are a little bit, I would say it's helped some in that the contact of it now, you give a little bit more instead of just doing it. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, there's things that I've done with flopping, but more so on the charge side, not necessarily on the offensive side, but definitely on the charge side where I tried to sell it. I maybe tried to sell it to, make the referee make a decision. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's helped because now you kind of you take a little bit more contact or you give a little bit more contact, and then that way you're not looking like LeBron James.
And see, I think there's a very fine line and an important distinction to be made between when the flopping happens in basketball, right? Because I think that the flopping that the general public is concerned about is the foul baiting, right? The James Harden, the Trae Young, stick the arms out and create some unnatural contact. where I think a lot of the flopping that the NBA was more worried about was more the Dylan Brooks kind of stuff, right? The Brad Davis and the Jordan Bohannon on what you're saying, the charges, where there's obviously, you played basketball. There's some natural showmanship, right, that goes into drawing a charge. And that's fine. It's within the gray area of the game. But going above and beyond, falling down when you were barely touched, my understanding is the flop rule in basketball was more for what you're talking about, the charging on defense, right? Not going above and beyond for that, where I think refs are getting a little bit better at the Harden, kind of rip through, rip up, the Chris Paul kind of rip through as well. That's more foul baiting than flopping, I think, according to the rule as it's adjudicated. But I think that ties into what you were saying before too, Strick, with the 10-yard penalty. In my head, this applies primarily to defenders, right? Defending against an up speed and up tempo, fast paced sort of offense, right? Those are the teams that I think of, taking a dive more often than not, right? I think about Indiana and Tom Allen against Nebraska a handful of years ago. Never proven, not conclusive, but I know a lot of Husker fans will still hold it against Tom Allen in Indiana that as soon as Nebraska started getting some offensive rhythm, Indiana players kept dropping like flies. Seemed a little fishy. But I do think you raise a good point as well, and that this has to be enforced on the offense too. If a team has had to burn its timeouts on defense to get the ball back, to get a stop, or if a team is unorganized and has had to use a dumb timeout or two and they're down to one, they want to save it, that's not just on, defenders, and not just that officials should be watching for defenders flopping, because there are just as many situations for an offense that's trailing, that's desperate, that wants to see if it can buy some time. This rule does apply both ways, more so than I think I initially gave it credit for.
Yeah, I think it does. And again, it right now, it may look bad on paper, it may look good on paper, until the implementation of it, and then we see how it plays out in game situations or whatnot, or in a really tough, tight bowl championship. During the season, you're not gonna like it unless it's a very important game. It's a Tennessee against Florida. It's Alabama against Georgia. It's Michigan against Michigan State, or Michigan against Ohio State. When it's in those, that's when it's going to be highlighted, right? But you'll probably see it, and in the effects of it in smaller games, you may not necessarily, look at it with a keen eye or look at it with a microscope. But I think it'll start to shed light on it in big games or big situations. And then there will be probably an assessment where they'll start to look through the games and do a compilation and get an understanding as to really how it's played out. Oh, we didn't really notice that, but it's happening more than we thought. Maybe we can increase the penalty, maybe not. Maybe we didn't need to go that far on it. Maybe we can just make it a time-induced thing. So then you can start to kind of weigh it out and see, which plan works the best. I think if you're going to do it, Austin, I think you go harder up front because it'll dissuade people from really, really trying to finagle it or wiggle their way through it. Because it can really hamper or hurt you. You know what I mean? So some of them may test it out in a non-con, not a big non-con like a Notre Dame against USC or nothing like that. No. But in a non-con game, maybe against a smaller opponent, you may test the waters a little bit and see what they're going to. And obviously, crews are going to be different in the way that they handle it and they view it too. So it's all kinds of stuff. But I think you go harder if you're going to do it. Go harder up front, and then kind of work your way back towards the way it either was or your initial thought on it.
Which is kind of why I really like what you were saying about making a 10-yard penalty instead of a 5. Or my idea is still, if a player goes down and needs, medical attention on the field, they can't re-enter the game on the same drive unless you either spend a timeout.
I like that.
Takes a timeout because then you have to be sure that it's a serious injury. And of course, there's the risk that a player's just injured enough that they probably need some attention. And certainly you can make, a knee injury or a little fracture into a break by jogging off the field. and I'm not trying to say this out of malice. I'm not trying to get more players hurt or make them push through. But I do think that if it's a big enough problem for the rules committee to address, let's keep the pace of play going, keep the pace of play up. And that's why Brad on our Starter Human Jewelers text line, when are they going to add a fourth timeout? They're not going to. I highly doubt that that's anything that comes to college football anytime soon because of pace of play, right? This rule was for pace of play. It was a big part of integrity of the game, absolutely, but also pace of play, right? They don't want the game being stopped for an illegitimate reason, right? The same reason that college basketball went down from 5 timeouts to 4, and then the fourth one is a use it or lose it, right? If you don't use it by halftime, you're down to 3. I really think that that's more applicable for college football because they do want to keep the game moving. Speaking of keep it moving, some other rule changes that are also going to be in effect for this year. The NCAA Rules Oversight Panel, according to On3, also approved a change that limits teams to just a single timeout beginning with the 3rd overtime until a winner is determined. Changes being made for why? Pace of play. If you give a team a timeout every overtime, they're probably going to line up, use a timeout, call a different play. You get one. After the 3rd overtime, you got to pick the right time to use it. I like that one. And then an interesting one, also implementing enhanced rules, restricting the use of any actions, signals, or words that are meant to distract opponents that are in the process of snapping the ball. Defensive players are no longer allowed to call signals that simulate the sound or cadence of offensive signals, and the defensive terms move and stem are now reserved for defensive players and cannot be used by the offense. We had this come up just a couple of years ago, Strick, with Iowa. Nebraska and then head coach Scott Frost threw a little bit of a fit because Iowa players were clapping, trying to mimic Nebraska's snap count, sometimes from the sideline, sometimes from on the field. That's one of those things that I'm kind of split on. On the one hand, it's gamesmanship, right? Pay attention, see when the ball moves, and you go. But on the other hand, it's, you're trying to cheat the system, right? You're trying to trick your opponent. And I'd rather see a game of football be decided schematically and by players rather than, oh, hey, look, we baited you because we learned your cadence. I'm kind of split on that one. Okay, something's going on.
Somebody was just hand on the horn, just driving by. I don't know if they're going at somebody. Literally, it's still pressed. It's crazy. But anyway, that's a rule infraction right there. That we need to deal with on a different level. Listen, on that one, Austin, I don't know. I agree. I don't like it, but I'm also gonna say there's usually a person that has a disadvantage in that situation. It's usually gonna be the home team that has an advantage because they're gonna get loudness already. Mm-hmm. And so now if you're also adding different things into that to mess up the team, that to me is a problem because they're already going to have the advantage of having home field. So that's probably the ones that's going to use it most. You're probably not going to see it. It's going to be a lot quieter, obviously. The defense against the home team is going to be a little bit quieter because they're going to allow them to. They're not going to be overly raucous and loud so that the offensive team can, either get the play call or, make sure that they're not false starting or anything like that. So, I don't want to pinch hairs on that one though. That's a little bit, more difficult.
Mm-hmm. A couple other ones here. If any player on the kickoff return team makes the T signal, the kick is dead, not able to be returned.
Any player,
not just the returner. It could be an up back. It could be someone on the front lines. Anyone makes the T signal, no return. Plays dead.
Yeah. Cool.
Don't hate that.
Yeah, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with that. Look, be careful of where you put your T's and where you dot your I's.
Careful. Careful now.
Don't, if you ain't supposed to be in that mix, just don't put a T up.
Hands at your side, young fella. Hands at your side. NCAA allowing coach-to-player communication at the FCS level, the same communication
in the helmets. Okay,
that is now at the FCS level, in addition to the FBS level. And then, Stricky, maybe the other favorite that I think we're going to have probably the most engagement with this year. The referee is now limited to announcing whether a play that required instant replay is upheld or overturned, rather than saying the words confirmed or stands. So no longer will you hear an official say the call on the field is confirmed or the call on the field stands. It's going to be the call is upheld or the call is overturned. And I think that makes it a little more black and white, because confirmed.
Yeah, is that confusion to you? Is that confusion, confirmed and upheld? Because it really isn't. The confirmed means that whatever they saw. Let me just make sure I'm hearing. Confirmed is whatever they saw. It basically confirms why we gave the answer. Either way, one way or the other. Stands, to me, what I understand, means that there wasn't enough to adjust it or change it. And what are the new ones that they're talking about?
It's upheld and overturned.
See, that to me sounds more confusing.
What to me here's
because it leaves it more ambiguous, right? I don't know. I could be wrong. It kind of leaves overturned. Okay, it's overturned, but you know,
but
why?
Overturned was always there, right? You can still get the explanation for overturned. Yeah. Call on the field is overturned. The runner or the receiver did make possession of the ball with 1 foot in bounds prior to landing out of bounds.
Are they going to do that? That's going to be the key.
You can still do the explanation, but where I think it gets a little more confusing for fans moving forward is that the refs don't have to necessarily explain upheld. Whereas a fan, if you heard confirmed, it's okay, they must have had an angle. They must have had the evidence to say they got it right on the field. But if you heard the call stands, that lets you know, they're not sure about this either, but it's not necessarily conclusive. Now, if they're just going to say upheld, you'll still see, I assume, the same replay angles that you always have on TV. Maybe you get a little bit of explanation as well, but there's not going to be that little indicator that tells you exactly what they're thinking. Because when it's confirmed, they're thinking we have enough evidence to back this up. If they say stands, they're a little shaky on it too. They just couldn't, find enough to overturn the call. They're not confident in it, so they feel obligated to keep it. So I think it actually takes a little bit of information away from the viewers and the fans that are watching the game. And honestly, I think it gives the refs a little bit more cover, where there's less of an explanation that they owe to people who are watching.
Yeah, I think I agree with the possibility of the cover part of it, but also it makes it, to me, it makes it seems like if you're just a casual fan, and sometimes I always have my hat on, my tinfoil hat. It seems like they're just trying to do something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, to keep themselves as if to show as to why they deserve the money still.
Mm-hmm.
Come up with new stuff like that. The way that particular situation was, it doesn't seem to me, but you just said something, providing potential cover because of so much craziness. I mean, so here's one quick scenario, because I know we got to go to break. Here's a quick scenario that I've seen. You had a marking of a ball that was definitely a first down that was marked a yard, a half a yard, if not more, less than what it was. And if you took that to the replay, say for instance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which one would you prefer to say that was correct or incorrect? Confirmed or
upheld?
No, confirmed or stands, or upheld and the other one.
Well, overturned has always been there, right? So that's fine. I think overturned we're good with. But I do like the degrees, right? Of confirmed we had enough versus stands we're not quite sure, so we got to keep it. I still think confirmed.
Like I'm talking about that situation.
Yeah.
Speak to that. Okay, are you speaking specifically to that, or do you just in general?
Well, yeah, I think in that case, if all you hear is upheld, you don't know if they have concrete evidence that said, yeah, the runner's knee was down,
right?
Where they would confirm it. Or if they just said, well, we're not quite sure, so we're just going to uphold the call. Otherwise, this is going to drag on. And we thought we saw it from this angle. We saw it differently from a different angle. So I really think that the better system, the less confusing, more clarifying system in any situation, but especially that one, is confirmed we got it right, or stands we're just going to play on.
Yeah, that's just one scenario where that would be weird. Because if you came to me and said it's upheld, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm watching that game and I saw that you come to me and say it's upheld, where did you see that from? I literally saw that man was well over the line. Now, what did you see that says that's upheld? Help me. You know what I'm saying? But if you said even if you said it stands, I could say, okay, maybe you didn't see something that, maybe it was a block and you couldn't see where the knee went down. So, or you know what I mean? Or something like that. So yeah, it looks like he was there, but we couldn't really tell. So that stands. But to say upheld and you with your eyes saw something different, that would throw me off.
Completely agree. He's Strick. I'm Austin. Good discussion there on some new rules coming to college football. Talking some college basketball. Some staggering numbers of money being thrown around by really 10 top programs and maybe a dozen other programs, and a new assistant coach for the Nebraska men's basketball staff. All that ahead in our next segment of On the Block.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Go hog wild, pit barbecue.
It's $5.99 barbecue time. Hurry to Hog Wild for a complete barbecue meal that's only $5.99. Get a one-meat sandwich loaded with our award-winning barbecue, plus your choice of a classic side and drink for just $5.99. Upgrade your sandwich to beef brisket for just $1 more. Join us for lunch or dinner in Lincoln at 3210 Cornhusker Highway. Order online at GoHogWild.com.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Keep summer green with Judson Baleen and Judson Irrigation. More than 40 years ago, Judson Irrigation started taking in orphans. Lawn sprinkler systems installed by a quickie, cheapy summer job, install them and forget them outfit long forgotten. Call Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Start your engines, race fans. Race season at Eagle Raceway officially starts this Friday and Saturday. Friday, April 18th and Saturday, April 19th is the Icebreaker Challenge, presented by Stop and Shop and Auto Transmatic at Eagle Raceway. Both days feature Nebraska's best lawn and landscape modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, and A1 Iron stock cars. Friday also features Valentino's Hobby Stocks. Saturday will feature Nebraska Septic Sprint cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. For more info, visit eagleraceway.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it's becoming a wild ride in the car market these days, but Koppel wants to let you know and assure you that we are staying the course with our usual pricing model. We've still got huge discounts and low interest rates, so let's get after it. We've got over $12,500 off list price or 0% APR right now on select new vehicles. New and pre-owned, our lots are full, so now's the time to buy. Please stop on in the dealership or check us out at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. Stock number G187747. All deals with roof credit.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next opportunity? Nebco is hiring. They're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. They offer competitive wages, great benefits, service trucks, OEM level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Apply today at nebco.com. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for the Nebco shop. Learn more at nebco.com. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at nebco.com.
Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage door sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, a realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at DoorsPlusLLC.com or give them a call today at 402-590-5800. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a chance of showers and storms this afternoon. Otherwise, partly sunny and breezy with a high near 87. Tonight, a chance of storms early and partly cloudy and breezy, low near 48. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly cloudy skies and keep breezy with a high near 59. A meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Spurman, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Stricken Austin with you here during On the Block, brought to you by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Check them out at one of their 3 Lincoln locations or their 4th location up in Omaha. We were talking some college football rule changes. We're talking the wild, wild west of NIL in college basketball right now. Really good piece penned by Matt Norlander of CBS Sports just today. Some numbers for you, Stricky. There was a tweet from Travis Branham who says there are at least 8 teams that will have a $10 million roster in college basketball next season, according to 24/7 Sports sources. Well, according to some other sources, teams that will be running a $10 million or more roster include Arkansas, BYU, Duke, Indiana, Kentucky, Louisville, Michigan, North Carolina, St. John's, and Texas Tech. There's $100 million to college basketball players among those 10 teams. So let's move it down. Teams that have hit at least $8 million. Auburn, UConn, Florida, Houston, Kansas, Kansas State, Miami, Purdue, Tennessee, Texas, UCLA, USC, Villanova, and Virginia are all but confirmed to be at or around the $8 million mark for their rosters for the 2025-26 season. But then, Stricky, maybe the part that I want to bring this home with to Nebraska is this. There are another 340 Division I schools to account for. If you're a high major program and don't have at least 3 million, some would argue 4 million at bare minimum, in NIL reserves in 2025, you're in trouble. There are easily more than a dozen mid-major schools with north of $2 million in their piggy banks promised to their 2025-26 rosters per multiple sources at that level. As you heard me read through that list, you heard me mention 5 Big Ten teams paying at least $8 million for their rosters this year. Indiana's at over 10. You have Michigan, UCLA, USC, and Purdue in the 8 million plus club. What does that mean for Nebraska? Nothing good right now.
It doesn't, because I think with a few of those programs, okay, there's a way to kind of weigh it out. You can look at it from a standpoint of what Nebraska did, obviously by winning the crown, the way that they did it, and which teams were there as well, and where they sit. So you can look at that. You can weigh out the numbers that way as well. You can also look at it coming up, because it's really starting to hit home now and solidify themselves that it's not necessarily within the collectives all, but it's also just, where a lot of teams are standing. So you're going to be able to look at these teams in the upcoming years and to see where they're bought or what they've paid to get in. To me, it's definitely a premier class, a middle class, and
everyone else.
Right? I'm just watching something a little bit about China right now, and just some things that are going on with the economy and the way that it's set. There's, even in America, there's a small amount of those who sit in a specific place, and there's delusion that happens both in economy and business, and then there's lies that are told as to really where they stand, right? And what I'm saying by that is you have tiers. It's very caste system-y. And where I mentioned the top tier in this instance, you have, like, just say we're in that top tier, Austin, you and I. You're single though now. You're not married.
Aw, I don't want this.
I know, I'm just saying. It's just hypothetical because it's not true. But we're in a space where people know who we are. But we're that top tier.
Mm-hmm.
And there are women there. It's a dating event. And there are women there that know that those guys right there are the premier guys in this room. 10 million guys, right? So everybody that jumps out into the transfer portal, guess who they trying to date?
The 10 mils.
The top tier, because they know that that's where the moolah is. Okay. Oh, I can't get there. Their situation's a little tight. Who am I going to look to next?
The next mid-tier.
The mid-tier, right? And then at that point, you're in the room. There's 50 women in there. 30 of them, 35 of them is trying to get to the top tier. The rest of them are like, I can't really get there. I'm going to go here. But then you end up with only a few of the 35, 5 of them up at the top tier, another 10 to 15 at the second tier, and everybody else is like, I couldn't date the best one in the house. Let me just go and try to figure out where I can get in. And that's why it's important for those at that bottom tier to figure out who you are. Hence, this is why I wanted to get to this point because I know we got to go. The new coach for Nebraska, that told me a lot about where Nebraska's mind is. Why do I say that? He's a mid-tier coach, mid-tier, a low-tier program, and he found gems. So it looks to me that Nebraska is foregoing hanging out in Michael Jordan's room if you ain't got Michael Jordan money. And
coach.
we gonna try to figure out how to find those Domasts. Obviously that's his one of his best finds, Domas. Find how can you help us find those guys without having to spend that money? That told me a lot about where Nebraska's head is, and they're not going to be willing to come and play in the playground of the big boys. Hence, they're never going to be like me and my teammates going to the lower casino where the big boys is playing up top.
They only get to MON. They don't get to MON ACO.
Hey, they don't get the Cristal and the Moet when they walk in, the strawberry covered chocolate straw. No, they get straight below bottom tequila. You walk in, that's what you get down here, my boy. No, but you see, the thing is when we talk here on the block, things that we've said, you got to be able to hang out on the block. You got to hang out on the block because we said some things months ago, or you may have to go back and find out again, but it all plays out today. We've been telling you who Nebraska pretty much wants to be, and they don't really want to play with the big boys. So guess what? Now we're going to be able to really assess, Austin, are they cool with mediocrity?
See, that's the question that they have to wrestle with. They have to answer because we know that money isn't everything. But money's a lot, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not like Indiana, Michigan, UCLA, USC, and Purdue are now guaranteed to be the top 5 teams in Big Ten basketball, right? You feel pretty good about Purdue, right? Painter's a top 5 guy, but that's a basketball school. It makes sense that they're investing like that.
Well, pause. While you right there, you said Indiana. You said Indiana, right? You're absolutely right, because guess what? Just because you have cake mix and moolah and you just throw it to the wind, I don't care if you're a business, I don't care if you're whoever you are. If you're just going to throw it to the wind and just don't care where and to whom it goes to, and you don't do your due diligence and your assessment, it's wasted money.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden they're going to start looking at you funny, the boosters and the collectives or whoever. They're going, hey, we got to get you up out of here. Go ahead.
That's exactly why he's gone. Indiana spent that type of money last year, didn't get that level of return on that investment, right? I mean, Michigan has spent that much. They're going to spend that much again. That's a football school, but certainly basketball history and tradition. Michigan's been a good basketball school. UCLA, we know, one of the blue bloods in college basketball, still trying to find its way in the Big Ten. USC kind of surprises me a little bit, right? I mean, I know $2 million in LA isn't the same as $2 million in West Lafayette. Don't get me wrong. But USC's never been a huge basketball power. Maybe they're just getting serious, or maybe they're just throwing money at a problem because they have it around. So just because Nebraska is not in that $8 million plus tier, that to me, Strick, isn't Nebraska resigning itself to mediocrity right now, right? Because you're going to have some pop-ups, right? I mean, maybe Northwestern gets it together again, despite not being a huge NIL program, right? Can a Michigan State with basketball history and tradition not in that realm, that range right now? You know, Wisconsin, what are they going to do? How much is Iowa spending with a new coach? Not all these teams are going to get to 8 million, but if you're not going to spend 8 million, that's where I think your point about Pat Monahan, the new assistant that came to Nebraska from Wyoming. He was with Sundance Wicks, who helped turn around Wisconsin and Green Bay pretty quickly. If you're going to bring those guys in, you got to find the gems, right? You can't take your metal detector on the beach and not come back with some, shipwrecked treasure or whatever it is you want to say, right? You can't go gold panning in the river and come back with 0 gold nuggets, right? Every year or two, Nebraska is going to need to hit on that foundational identity type of player if Nebraska wants to crack into the top half, because really that's the formula, Strick. We're not asking Nebraska to win the Big Ten every year, but if you're in the top half of the Big Ten, you are at the very least on the bubble, if not in the NCAA tournament. So you don't have to spend $8 million to get there, but if you're not going to spend $8 million, you better make sure you are hitting that recruiting trail harder than anyone in the country, and that you're spending more time in the gym, according to NCAA rules, of course, than anyone in the country, so that you can pay it off despite not having the moolah to pay. So that's kind of where I land on that. Stricky, appreciate you hopping on. We got Jay in here. He's on the hot seat for the shootout. We'll see you down here tomorrow, partner.
No doubt. See you then. All right.
He's Strick. I'm Austin. Shootout with Strick, or Fire with Foreman, more aptly, is coming your way next. We need a contestant. 402-464-5685. Give us a call on our Honda of Lincoln hotline. We'll play the game. Your chance to win $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings to wrap up hour one of On the Block.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Your new Total Wine in Lincoln has the largest selection of wines, spirits, and beers, plus totally low prices and friendly service from our helpful guides. With over 8,000 wines, 4,500 spirits, and 2,500 beers, you're sure to find your favorites and something new. You can even order delivery, in-store, or curbside pickup. Find what you love what you find, only at Total Wine and More. Now open in Lincoln next to Gateway Mall.
Drink responsibly, B21.
League One Volleyball just wrapped up its first season in Omaha. The team returned home as league runners-up thanks to Olympic medalists and former Huskers Jordan Larson and Justine Wong-Arantes. Stay on the lookout for more action from more former Huskers, including Lexi Rodriguez, Lauren Stiffrins, and Maddie Kubik-Banks in year 2. You can renew your season tickets or secure your seats for the first time by visiting lovboma.com. Don't miss your chance to watch even more Olympians, national champions, and former Huskers take the court for Love Volleyball Omaha in 2025. Volleyball is the next major league.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next opportunity? Nebco is hiring. They're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. They offer competitive wages, great benefits, service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Apply today at nebco.com. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for the Nebco shop. Learn more at nebco.com. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at nebco.com.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com. At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Outside is where winter adventure unfolds. On frozen lakes, icy landscapes, and snow-covered slopes, feeling the cold air rush by as you race downhill. The freedom of gliding with ease and the warmth of being together. From epic sled rides to the fun of ice fishing, it's all right here beneath Nebraska skies. Start your winter adventure at yournebraskaparks.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Associations and this station.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall. Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option. Load up on meat and more this spring at The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese with great selections of T-bones, tomahawks, ribeyes, filet mignon, brisket, sirloin, and so much more. The Mercado has locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, where you can have $2 draft beer every Thursday night from 4 to 8 p.m. and half-price espresso drinks on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town. Tailored Landscapes is actively preparing for spring. Things like new tree orders, getting equipment ready, and training staff to serve you the best they can. If you haven't already planned, now is the perfect time to figure out a maintenance plan for your yard. Tailored Landscapes is on the brink of spring cleanups for all their existing customers, and they have limited spots available. They trim trees and shrubs when needed and only mulch proper amounts. Give Tailored Landscapes a call at 402-432-2572 to set up a meeting with one of their designers and stop by the Tailored Life store in Bennett.
It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685, to take your shot against Eric Strickland. Shootout with Strick. Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Time to play the game!
Fresh off the streets, let's bring him in. Jay Foreman, fire away against Foreman. Welcome in, 56.
What's happening?
Oh, not much. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Beautiful day for football, huh?
We're going to see it in a couple minutes if I can get these quiz questions right.
We need a contestant here, 402-464-5685. You have your chance to win $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. While we wait, some college football rule changes. The one that Strick and I had the most discussion on was the new injury protocol. It says if a player is down on the field and requires medical attention after the ball has been spotted for play, it's either going to be a charged timeout against the team, or if the team is out of timeouts, it's a 5-yard delay of game penalty. You like it? You hate it?
Oh, they're just trying to take away the dive. It's called a dive play when you take a dive and act like you're hurt. I guess so, but I think there was one game, maybe it was Ole Miss or something, where
Lane hated it.
Right. Or no, and then South Carolina against Illinois, right? In the bowl game. Yeah, I guess it's for them. I mean, I just like what I would like to think, like one or two people or teams don't change the rule. I think it's part of like college sports. Now you just got to get better at faking injuries. Period.
Well, yeah, I mean, do it during the course of play, right? Go down before the player goes down.
Yeah.
And you're safe. Pretty much what's going to
and it's got to be time. You got to practice these things. We used to practice this.
Not here at Nebraska, of course.
No, it started in the pros.
Mm.
We used to do like this was it. They give you the signal.
Yeah.
And you pick somebody. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I would always pick Gary Walker because he always messed up.
Because Gary would do it
get out of
anyways.
here. Yeah, then he made Corey Sears go. So
let's go to our Honda of Lincoln hotline and welcome in Dusty. Dusty, what's going on?
Hey, not much. How you guys doing?
We are doing well. You ready for the shootout here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Excellent. Hold on the line. We'll get Jay his 4 questions first, and then we will get to you. We are doing Major League Baseball leaders right now.
Oh, man. Come on now.
But Strick was mad at me yesterday. You're going to be mad at me today. I'm used to it.
Yeah,
so,
all right.
All
Let's
right.
do this.
Dusty, hold on. Jay's round starts here in 3, 2, and 1. He leads Major League Baseball in batting average. Aaron Judge or Pete Alonso?
Alonso.
It's Judge. He leads MLB in runs batted in. Wilmer Flores or Kyle Tucker?
Flores.
It is Flores. He leads MLB in doubles. Jung-Hoo Lee or Manny Machado?
I'm going to go Machado.
It's Lee. And he leads Major League Baseball in runs scored.
Oh.
Leads Major League Baseball in runs scored.
The dude from the Reds.
What's his name?
I don't know.
What's his name?
Number 44.
I need a name. I need
That's
a name.
his name.
What's his name?
I don't know, but that's the answer.
Actually, it's not.
Oh.
Shohei Ohtani.
Man, this is horrible. I can't believe you did, but this is crazy. I see why Strick is mad at you, man. You going to have me do baseball?
I had him do football.
Yeah, that's a universal sport. Baseball is an acquired taste.
They said you like baseball.
I do.
Yes. Okay. There it is. There
I
we
like
go.
it from afar.
Okay. Fair enough.
All right.
Well, it's fair game.
Well, this is easy pickings here.
Okay. Dusty, 1 to tie, 2 or more to win. You ready for your shot?
Let's do it.
Okay. Your round starts here in 3, 2, and 1. He leads Major League Baseball in home runs. Tyler Soderstrom or James Wood?
Soderstrom.
Yep. He leads MLB in pitching strikeouts. Cole Reagans or Mackenzie Gore?
Gore.
It's Reagans. He leads Major League Baseball in stolen bases. O'Neal Cruz or Pete Crow Armstrong?
Crow Armstrong.
It's Cruz. And he leads Major League Baseball in innings pitched. Most innings pitched so far in 2025, Dusty.
Schwellenbach.
Schwellenbach is the guess. Right league, wrong team. The answer is Shota Imanaga of the Chicago Cubs. Opening day starter for them over in Japan. But that's all right. We'll play the tiebreaker. You guys are tied at 1 apiece. So Dusty J will get the question. He will give a number. You will go over, under, or push his answer for the win. Got it?
Okay.
Jay, how many innings has Shota Imanaga pitched so far in 2025? He's made 5 starts. I'll give you that hint. In 5 starts, how many innings has Shota Imanaga pitched?
28.
Jay says 28 innings. Dusty, over, under, or push for the win?
Over.
Boom shakalaka. Finish him.
Give me a hell yeah.
Dusty
I
won.
said, give me a hell yeah.
Here's the funny part about this. The answer is 28.2.
Oh, hell
28 and 2/3 innings and 5 starts for Shota Imanaga.
Hell, are you serious?
I'm serious.
Oh, hell no. That's ridiculous. Even that old buddy stood up in the car. He said, oh, hell no, too. Him, too.
You nailed it, except that you didn't. So, Dusty, you're the winner. Hold on the line. We'll get your information. $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings is yours. Thanks for playing. Congrats on the win.
Nice. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I thought you had it, Jay.
I did say, I thought it, man, because usually starters don't go more than 5 innings, and I was like, oh, maybe he got jiggy with it a couple times. 28 and still lost.
28 and 2/3.
That's why I hate baseball.
You love baseball.
I do.
You know you do. From a distance, of course.
Yeah.
That's all right. Well, we will get back into your wheelhouse in just a little bit. We'll talk some Nebraska football here from Matt Rhule earlier today. But first, coming up on the other side, Thirsty Thursday, Kevin Meyer, Myers Cork and Bottle, and we get back to On the Block.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Salt Mine City is not only Lincoln's newest brewery, but they're also now serving food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their peanut butter and jelly burger with bacon and cheddar cheese, or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. Don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, now open 11 a.m. every day but Mondays at 8th and R.
Biggest question people have is, how do I start the process? What is the process? I want to build a new home, but I don't know what the first step is.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
The first step is make an appointment. Come on into my office. Let's sit around the table. Let's talk about what you're looking for, what your needs are, what your budget might be. And let's come up with some answers on what we're going to build, where we're going to build it, and what it's going to cost. And get a house that you're going to be happy with. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done. Once you find a good lot, let's get it reserved, because there's a very limited number of lots in this town. And then start designing that floor plan that's going to be perfect for you. Next thing you know, we're moving dirt.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
Out for Markonitis with an opening. Here he comes, Markonitis. He scores! The 2025 Clark Cup playoffs are here. Join us at the Icebox for all the excitement as the Stars try to bring home their third Clark Cup. Head to USHL.com for a look at the playoff picture and upcoming games. Purchase your tickets for home playoff games now at LincolnStars.com or by calling the box office at 402-474-7827.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a chance of showers and storms this afternoon. Otherwise, partly sunny and breezy with a high near 87. Tonight, a chance of storms early and partly cloudy and breezy, low near 48. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly cloudy skies and it'll be breezy with a high near 59. And meteorologist Kyle Hunter for 93.7 The Ticket and ticketfm.com.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mixed concrete in Lincoln. With 3 plants across the city, there are plenty of opportunities to start or grow your driving career. They offer great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they cover the cost of CDL training. Apply today and receive a $2,500 hiring bonus. Since 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today with ready-mixed concrete. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Make plans to join 93.7 The Ticket and the Amon Green Foundation for the first annual Nebraska Esports Golf Tournament on Monday, June 9th at Wilderness Ridge. It's a 4-man scramble starting at 11 a.m. that will feature former Husker greats, including Amon Green, Johnny Rogers, Niles Paul, Tony Davis, Adam Carricker, Rashawn Jackson, and more, with great prizes and great golf. Sponsorships are also available. Email Jake at theticketfm.com for more questions or sign your team up online at theticketfm.com. Early bird registration goes through April 20th and overall registration goes through May 30th.
Why wait until Friday to start your weekend?
Go ahead, start right now.
You're thirsty now, and 93.7 The Ticket is here to help you stock up.
Just in time for the weekend when I like to hit the clubs.
Time to broaden your horizons and try some new wine and beer. It's Thirsty Thursday with Kevin Meyer from Meyer's Cork and Bottle.
Woo! I'm going to do that one first. Now we're going to go for what our good friend Eric Strickland likes to call the pop pop.
Oh, that wasn't a bad one.
I'd give it an 8, a solid 8.
Yeah,
our friend Eric Strickland not here. He's skipping out on us today. Alice Norman, Kevin Meyer, joined by Nick Sainer. Welcome
Hello,
in, Nick.
boys. This
Nephew
is
Nicky.
one of my favorite segments of the week. Uncle Kev, it's always a pleasure to see you, and I'm glad that I can join. You got some good stuff today, though.
I do. I'm always trying to remain topical.
And tropical per the can.
Yeah,
Yes.
tropical and topical. We're going to do the wine first because I don't think that the beer would set it up very nicely. So
I will say, Stricky did predict that you were going to bring a good red for him today.
Yeah.
So-
Well, and this is a little bit, it's kind of a weird red. This one comes from the Emilia-Romagna region in northern Italy, and it's a grape called Guternio, which you never see. And this winemaker, I've actually met her several times. We've done several tastings together. Her name is Gaia Bucciarelli, and she's a very modern style winemaker in a very traditional old world area. And
how does that go over for her?
I think pretty darn well, because everyone else has been doing the same thing for 1,000 years, and they're very tradition oriented. And so she's kind of like, you know what, I'm going to make some fun, sort of different, sort of modern style wines. So this is what I call a summertime red. It's an off dry red. It's kind of fruity. It even has a little bit of tiny effervescence in it, what they would call a frizzante, or
bubbles,
or exactly, or a frizzantino. So basically, you've heard the term spumante, like from Asti Spumante. Well, a spumante is like a frizzante is half sparkling, and then this would be called like a frizzantino, which means just barely effervescent.
I'm going to be honest. This is incredible. I really enjoy this one because it's not, and you know this about me, as I am a young palate. I don't care for dry wine. I don't care for the dries, and this does not taste dry at all, like you mentioned.
It's but it's not sweet either.
No,
kind of right, perfectly in the middle. And I did put it on ice. So normally a red wine you would just drink room temp, or somewhere between cellar temp, which is 55 degrees, and room temp, which is 70, slightly cool. But this one, put a chill on it. This is a patio wine, a warm weather red. A wine like this would be fun to play around doing some wine-based cocktails, or you could even do some sangria with this.
Yes.
And it just has that little tiny bit of spritz on the tongue to make it interesting.
You
A little
get
bit fruity, but not sweet.
You get the sharpness up front, the little pop from the effervescence and the bubbles, and then your mouth doesn't know what to do with it. Like, how is it supposed to figure out what it is it's drinking? Like, you can tell, like, it's a red. It's deep enough and dark enough, but it's a little fruitier than I think you're expecting from a red, like you were saying.
It definitely, we have a tendency to taste with our eyes, and so it tricks us in that regard, because you automatically assume that you're going to have that absence of sweetness, which is essentially dryness, and but it comes off just a little bit fruity. It's easy to drink. I have it, like I said, a little bit chilled, and it's just sort of a good patio red. So if you're not a white wine fan, but you don't want something dry and it's hot out or warm out, this is just a great wine to have. These are on the shelf every day for $22. Comes from northern Italy, and is just a really fun, different style of red.
That's what I was going to say, is like, for somebody that has the palate that I do, I struggle to find a red wine that I enjoy. Right. And like the last one, I can't remember the one that you brought in a couple of weeks ago when I was able to sit in while Austin was in his gallivanting in Vegas. But that was a really good red wine as well. But this, like, how do you decide which ones you can chill? Right. Because I think part of that is the fact that it's a little colder.
Well, a dry wine, you just generally wouldn't. And so this one, since just through experience and having tried it before and done several wine tastings with the owner winemaker, it's just sort of you rely on your experience. And so a wine like this lends itself to having a little bit of that chill. Do you remember Beaujolais Nouveau?
That's right.
Okay. That's another red that is sort of that off dry fruity that you can drink a little bit chilled. And that's always the first wine produced in the Northern Hemisphere every year. Doesn't see oak aging. This wine is almost kind of made like that, where it's just sort of grape to bottle, sort of not a lot of middle interference. and they allow just a little bit of CO2 to stay trapped in there to give it that little bit of spritz.
I'm glad you bring that up, because if this one would have been room temp, which first of all, for my wife, room temp is like 74, and for me, it's closer to 69 or 70. So I'll tell her that room
She's
temp is 70.
cold-blooded, yeah.
She is cold blooded, and I get her blanket whenever she asks for one. So I've got that part down. But I do drink a lot of pop, more than I should probably, but it's carbonated. It has the bubbles. And if this wine hadn't been refrigerated, like a pop hadn't been refrigerated, I'm not just going to take a can of pop out of my pantry and drink it. If it's going to have bubbles,
you're not going to drink a warm pop.
No,
Yeah.
it's got to be a little cold. So I think it just makes sense in my head that if something has a little bit of, bubbly to it like that, just chill it a little bit.
Yeah, I am picking up what you're throwing down over there. That makes a lot of sense to me.
I ask you the same question every single time. What would you pair food-wise with this? Because grill season is right around the corner. It's already here, Uncle Kev.
Grill season's 365.
That's right. That's right. If you have the right, deck
setup.
It's tough to keep. I will say it's tough to keep the Blackstone warm in cold temperatures.
Sure.
But anyway, what would you pair with this? With something like this?
Boy, that's a great question. I think something like if you did like some real grilled fajitas.
Yeah.
So you chop up some peppers, some onions, some chicken breast, put it in a grill pan, season it up. Put a little bit of oil on there. Sometimes too, when I get toward the end of the cook on those, I'll pour a little rum or tequila over the top and let that flame up.
I need to do that more. I need to cook with more alcohol.
Yeah.
Because you never think about it. Or at least I don't. You do probably. But like I never think about let me pop a little bit of rum on here.
It caramelizes on there and just kind of molds everything together and brings those flavors even more sort of mixed, and I think something like that would go great with
It's
this.
interesting you say that too, because with the fajita specifically, because there's a little bit of spice, but not like Spanish red, not even like some of the French reds you've brought in. Like there's just a little bit of a hint of the spice, but not overpowering.
Yeah, well, and a lot of times too, it's sort of the yin and yang. So like something that is salty goes well with something that's a little bit sweet. Something that is spicy also goes with something a little bit sweet or a little bit fruity, and so. For the same reason you'd squeeze a lime on there or something along those lines. I think that would do pretty nicely. But it's certainly a wine that can stand on its own as a beverage. But I think would do pretty well with something like that too.
It genuinely feels, before we move on to the next one, it genuinely feels like something that you could pick up on the way home from work and just say, I don't care what we're having for dinner. While you make dinner, this is what I'm going to enjoy.
Yeah. Or even just something as basic as like spaghetti, a good red sauce has a little bit of sweetness from the tomatoes. They have a saying in Italian cooking that acidity loves acidity. And so this wine has a little bit of that acidity on the finish. And when you pair that with a tomato based sauce, it's like I like to say, the whole becomes greater than the sum of the parts. So the wine brings the food up a level and the food brings the wine up a level.
While we're talking about grilling, I know we're going, but have you made anything fun recently?
Gosh.
What's been one of the recipes that you've been working with?
Well, we did some wood-fired pizzas last weekend, and we're going
to warm up for this weekend, right?
To warm up for this weekend, we're doing breakfast pizzas for Easter.
No way.
Yeah, and so your sauce, instead of a red sauce, is hollandaise, which is egg yolk, mustard, salt, lemon, and cayenne pepper.
Okay.
And then, so that's your sauce. And then some cheese, and then some bacon. And these pies are about 12 inches. And so 4 poached eggs. So each fourth of the pie gets its own poached egg. And then a little sriracha stripe.
Yeah, of course.
Over the top with some chives or green onion. And then a little bit of arugula over the top.
So this isn't the first time that we've done that.
No, it's not.
So it's good.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It
would be bold to just say, "Hey, this is our Easter meal."
It's a
or
coma.
breakfast.
It's a coma waiting to happen. Let me tell you.
Dang.
And then we do mimosa buckets. So you take like a champagne type bucket, and it gets a bottle of prosecco, its own bottle of orange juice, and a couple of glasses, and then you can pair off and share with that.
One of the best things to enjoy on a Sunday: bottomless mimosas, and you can make them at home for much cheaper than you can go anywhere and buy them. I'm sure.
you can kill a Sunday pretty quick.
Anyway,
$49.99 would like the name of the red again, please.
It's called Santa Justina, and the grape and the wine is called Guternio, and it's spelled Gutturinio.
Very
And
nice.
like I said, they're on the shelf for $22 every day.
There we go.
I failed to mention as well, we started our spring wine sale.
Oh, nice.
So we're doing that tiered pricing thing. Mix and match any 3 wines, save 10%. Any 6, save 15%.
Wow.
Or any dozen, save 20%. Any wines in the store, all wines included, unless they're already on sale, then you would just take whatever the better deal is.
So I think Austin's aware of this. I'm moving to a new place next week, and I think I need to create an alcohol corner.
Yeah.
And so I'm probably going to be coming to you just to see, okay, what's some good just wines to always have on hand?
Yeah.
What's some good things to always have on hand? Whether it's wine, whether it's other drinks, something that you just want to have on hand, because we're out of the college years, Kevin, where it's like, let me get this natty light and let me get we're out of that.
No, we need what you need.
Class.
I need a starter pack.
Housewarming.
Okay.
And do a stock Nicky's bar.
Oh.
housewarming, and then send them down to Myers Cork and Bottle.
Absolutely.
Tell them to tell me that they're stocking Nicky's bar, and I'll give them a little extra juice.
I just need a starter pack, Kev.
All right.
There it is. What else we got?
Okay, so I'm afraid I'm going to like this more than I want to. Corona came up, and this is all sticking with the Cinco de Mayo theme, right? So we're going to milk that until it's over. It's called Sunbrew and Citrus Cerveza, and it is brewed with real citrus peels and a splash of real citrus juice and lime.
Oh,
and it's beer and
it's over.
Juice. It's like beer sangria, birria, I guess you would say.
Birria is very good.
Yeah, well, I love birria tacos. Yeah,
I had some birria tacos in Vegas, and so first of all, the birria tacos from Tacos Los Hermanos here in town.
It's second to none.
They're incredible. That's where I discovered them.
This would go really well with those.
If I am ever convicted of a crime and put on death row, my final meal is going to be birria tacos.
Nice.
Like I came to that realization in Vegas. I went to this place, had birria tacos a couple different times, and I'm sold on birria tacos.
It's not something I partake of enough because I love tacos. I love Mexican food. I love, doing it at home. But, I'm ashamed to admit, I even like going to Taco Bell, regular
So did I.
hard shell tacos.
That's what I like too.
I let myself do it like once every couple of months, but,
people are getting mad at me because I called it an alcohol corner, not a mini bar. It's called a mini bar, so I apologize.
Someone also got mad at you for thinking a Blackstone is grilling.
Oh, this is a really good conversation, and Uncle Kev's the perfect guy to have in here for this. Thoughts on that?
Well,
I think it depends on what type of grilling that you're doing.
Well, technically, you're frying.
Okay,
and so it's really not a grill per se.
Not by definition.
Right.
I think though it depends on what you're making.
True.
Because if you're going to do a steak or chicken breast, sure, a grill is probably the preference there.
To do that on a Blackstone.
It would be, and to make sure it's even and things like that.
Cooked all the way through.
But when you're doing whether it's stir fry or whether it's one of my favorite things to do on there is quesadillas, like chicken quesadillas.
Yeah.
It works perfect for it. It's fajitas like we talked about.
Yeah. No, I'm totally picking up what you're throwing down. I don't have I'm not a snob when it comes to it. I'm all about using the right tool for the job.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to call it grilling, doesn't matter what you call it. If that's the right tool for the job, you own it.
Thank you.
This Corona Sunbrew is the right tool for a summer day.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
I mean, and it comes in these big 24-ounce cans. I mean, that's a day waiting to happen right there.
You only need one. You'll probably end up with 2 or 3.
Well, right. But we do have it in 6-pack, 12-ounce bottles, but we're kind of getting down to the nitty gritty on these cans. So I thought, well, we'll just give everyone a larger portion and make it a Sunbrew. And I thought in order to remain topical, I do a little research on Cinco de Mayo. So I'm going to enlighten you. And it was in 1862, the Battle of La Puebla. It was the Mexican army's victory over France, and they were in the middle of the Franco-Mexican War, led by General Ignacio Zaragoza. And what was interesting, so they won the battle, but later on there was a second battle that France actually won. And post U.S. Civil War after 1865, we started funding the Mexican Liberation Army to battle against France and get them out. And we actually, and it worked. And so But what's even more interesting about the Cinco de Mayo holiday is that it's not really celebrated in Mexico. Very little. It's celebrated way more here in the United States than it is in Mexico. And it's kind of become one of those things where it's like, I don't know, maybe white people just got a hold of it and we're like, yeah, we need a chance.
We need
margaritas and eat some tacos.
Is that the same with like St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah,
100%. We need an excuse to get together on a random day and drink.
Right. And so instead of green beer and Guinness and corned beef and cabbage, we're doing tacos and Coronas and Dos Equis.
We funded a proxy war and won. Let's drink.
A proxy war, yes. So pat ourselves on the back. But this Corona Sunbrew is it's summertime in a can. Let me tell you. So I could see poolside, golf side, fish and beer. Just one of those that it comes in pretty light, so it's not going to knock you over the head. And
initially,
you get a little bit of fruit juice, and so it'll help keep you hydrated. So just come in about 4.5%.
I'll be honest, just by the look of the can, I didn't know if I was going to like this. Because sometimes the can, you guys know this, Uncle Kev, obviously you do. The packaging can do a lot for you. Right? Like
presentation is important.
You just said it at the beginning of this conversation of that a lot of times we taste and we drink with our eyes. And so right off the bat, I was like, man, I don't know. That looks like something that you would grab at a gas station when you just need to grab something last minute. This is what's on the shelf. We'll try it out. Instead, it's really good. And you categorized it perfectly of golf beer, fishing beer, just sit on the back deck on a warm day and pound a couple of these.
Hang out by the pool. I also said, I think I'm going to like this more than I want to. And that was in fact true.
100% true.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect out of it.
And see, it's funny because I'm the opposite of you, because I thought I knew what to expect going in and I liked the packaging. Like beer is fine with me. Like I'll drink it. And it's getting better on my palate or whatever. But I was hoping this would be pretty fruity, cut through some of the hoppiness and the beer of it. I've had Coronas. They're not my favorite, but they had enough juice to where it's like, oh yeah, this is smooth going down. Don't have to worry about any of that. But it's also not overpowering at the same time. Like there's enough of the hops that you're like, oh yeah, I'm still drinking beer.
Right.
Kinda.
Would you categorize yourself as a foo-foo drink guy, Austin?
Probably.
Let's just say you're at an all-inclusive resort in Mexico.
What are you getting?
What are you getting? Are you a Miami Vice guy?
No.
Margarita guy?
I don't mind margs. Like
you could taste the tequila though in those quite a bit.
Pina colada?
They come through.
Never had a pina.
Never had a pina colada?
No. That's unfortunate.
You ever got caught in the rain?
No. I have not. I'm not
You're probably not ordering a Modelo or a Corona.
I've done that before and I don't hate it.
Little Dos Equis maybe?
Potentially. I'm not going like all overboard frou-frou. I don't want to taste the alcohol, but I'm not just like tequila shots and beer. I'm probably closer to the frou-frou than the beer.
Swim up beer bar. It's 1:00 in the afternoon. What's your go-to?
It's the heat of the day. You're close to the equator.
Swim up bar, not beer bar, but all inclusive.
I really don't know.
Awesome.
I don't have a go-to. I don't drink enough to have a go-to.
Okay, we're gonna have to figure out a go-to for you.
Wife and I may or may not be heading south of the border.
Is that right?
5th anniversary coming up.
Whoa,
this year. So,
that's awesome.
Well, then,
Uncle Kev, you going to the Bahamas soon though?
In June.
In June, you have to wait a whole month.
I know, it's sad.
At least the weather's warming up. So what is the weather in the Bahamas right now? Is it hot?
No, it's
beautiful.
78 and sunny, and they've had some incredible weather lately.
77 degrees, no precipitation all week long.
You don't want to be there?
Oh, come on, man.
I hear your wife wants to be there.
Yeah. She wants to be there permanently.
Not until Uncle Kev retires.
Right.
But anyway, okay. So how much we never got talking to price with the Corona. What are those running?
Oh, let's see. I want to say these are about $3 a can for the tall boy. The 20, the double, $4. And
Hello.
And then we've got the 6-packs that I think run around like $10.99. 6-pack 12-ounce bottles.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, right around in there. Kind of fun, something new, and Feliz Cinco de Mayo para ti.
We're getting some votes for micheladas.
Okay.
The Dirty Monkey and Rum Runners.
Okay. So Dirty Monkey has Kahlua and banana in it.
Yes.
And it's kind of like drinking a shake.
Yeah. Not a huge banana guy. Banana Laughing Kathy, I'm here for.
This man. What's your
He's hard to
go-to?
please. I would probably just say like margarita, rocks, and salt.
Yeah.
Keep it simple. Maybe put a little Grand Marnier floater on the top.
When I first turned 21, I was only a blended margarita guy. Then I started to actually enjoy the taste of tequila and appreciate the taste of tequila. So now it's the rocks because you can taste the tequila a little bit better.
Yeah,
also,
absolutely.
if you're drinking the right tequila, it's much better for you.
I mean,
Makes
just
a
like
difference.
anything, quality makes a difference.
Awesome.
Speaking of quality, Myers Cork and Bottle, 13th and South.
Thank
Quality,
you very much. Appreciate
sure.
you.
That's Kevin. He's
Spring
Nick.
wine sale going on
I'm
now.
Austin. Spring wine sale. Remind them the tiered pricing.
Mix and match any 3 wines, save 10%. Any 6, save 15%. Or any dozen, save 20%. Right on the corner of 13th and South.
Stock up for Easter. Got a couple days. Thanks, Kev.
Appreciate it.
More on the block after this.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese with great selections of T-bones, tomahawks, ribeyes, filet mignon, brisket, sirloin, and so much more. The Mercado has locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, where you can have $2 draft beer every Thursday night from 4 to 8 p.m. and half-price espresso drinks on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town. Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall. Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a chance of showers and storms this afternoon. Otherwise, partly sunny and breezy with a high near 87. Tonight, a chance of storms early and partly cloudy and breezy, low near 48. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly cloudy skies and it'll be breezy with a high near 59. And meteorologist Kyle Hunter for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Fleet Feet Lincoln is excited for the upcoming spring season and the warmer temps, and they want you to get outside and be active. Fleet Feet's Fit ID process takes a free 3D image of your feet to help runners and walkers alike find comfortable tennis shoes and inserts that ease pain associated with plantar fasciitis, bunions, and more. Get back on your feet this spring with a trip to Fleet Feet, open 7 days a week at 77th and Pioneers.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing. Heating and air.
And electrical.
Make plans to join 93.7 The Ticket and the Amon Green Foundation for the first annual Nebraska Esports Golf Tournament on Monday, June 9th at Wilderness Ridge. It's a four-man scramble starting at 11 a.m. that will feature former Husker greats, including Amon Green, Johnny Rogers, Niles Paul, Tony Davis, Adam Carricker, Vershawn Jackson, and more, with great prizes and great golf. Sponsorships are also available. Email jake@theticketfm.com for more questions or sign your team up online at theticketfm.com. Early bird registration goes through April 20th, and overall registration goes through May 30th.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Welcome back into On the Block, brought to you by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese, special ingredient butcher shop with 3 Lincoln locations and 1 up in Omaha. Austin Norman with you, Jay Foreman Reed. Joining you, Matt Rhule had a lot to say today about the Husker games and specifically the reintroduction of live football to the Husker games. Let's just start with that, Jay. How did Matt Rhule decide that live football should be coming back? Here it is in the words of the head coach.
Prayer, not praying about what should I do with the 105, but just, I'm, my dad's a minister. I ain't the best Christian in the world. But I work at it a little bit, and, I just have some quiet time the other day and just, sometimes you take some quiet time, whether you meditate, whatever your religion is. I'm not here to advocate. I'm just saying, like, I put my phone down every once in a while, turn the music off. I don't sleep very much. You can tell I slept last night right now, probably because I actually have some energy right now, but don't sleep, but every once in a while, like just taking out all the distractions and just being at peace with whatever your worldview is. And I just started feeling gratitude for some of these kids, right? And this time of year, what's so unfortunate is we talk so much about the kids who might leave or the kids like who did leave, who said, like they're just kids, man. They're 19. Like if you could have put a camera on me at 19, it'd be scary. So I just started thinking about some of them, and it just kind of kept hitting me. Like, my son's a freshman here. My son shows up with the strength staff every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday to do a 6 a.m. workout. He missed this morning. He missed. I was like, CJ, the strength coach, texted my wife and I'm going to have to kick Brian's, this morning. And I'm like, when he's your own kid, you're like, he's a kid. He's growing. But I put so many demands on these other guys at the same age. And so I don't know, like not to be too whatever, but like just in quiet moments, I just was like, man, some of these kids, I didn't ask them. I did what was right because of the portal and all that stuff, but there's some kids who deserve for us to go play. So, I wanted all this. I just kind of waited for it all to die down, waited for the portal to open, and then asked Troy yesterday if this was okay. I haven't told Haven. Before Haven's over there sitting right now, probably texting people like, hey guys, guess what we're doing? I walked in with Keith. He thought I was joking. I said, no, I'm going to tell him that we're going to scrimmage next week. And I'm not doing it to have people come to the game. And I'm not doing it for anything else other than I just want to give those kids a chance to show what they can do.
He would go on to say, Jay, something to the effect of, it's not going to be a competition to make the 105. It's not going to be the 1s and the 2s playing in. It's going to be some bottom 2s, some upper 3s playing for a chance to give them some tape if they decide that entering the transfer portal is the direction they want to go. So your reaction to that?
Hey, man, I mean, whatever he decides is I'm going to go with it. I mean, I think I'm, well, first and foremost, it takes some humility to kind of take some time to yourself. I can only imagine as a head coach, how much crap you got to deal with. I'm sure we always talk about 30 for 30 on the portal. Just imagine being a head coach at a power 4 or 5, whatever you want to call it, and the type of crap you got to deal with, and that's on your mind. So that to take some time and kind of think about something, being selfless instead of selfish, and I guess, selfless is and say, let me think about some kids that might, get, need some more tape in a more competitive environment, besides practice. You never know where their career could go. And you know what? Who knows if you might have your idea of, I'm just thinking if I was a coach, say you have, because I look at it like this. I remember going to training camp, 95% of the roster is already set, at least 90%. Then it's all
it's 2-3 spots up for grabs.
Yeah, in the NFL, because they don't have time. I mean, you got to play for real. So, and you only got 50 live spots, three specialists. So you kind of know, but there's always one or two guys in training camp that step up, and then there's a couple that step down. Now, contracts and opportunities kind of dictate that, as far as like, you see a guy that's capable, but sometimes, if his contract is something that they're trying to get rid of, he doesn't get snaps. And then you get a young guy that's younger, or two guys at 2 for 1 and all that. So that's why I look at it. He's giving these guys another opportunity, a real opportunity to play, and help themselves. But more importantly, you just never know. Maybe they have it. Maybe they're in between Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, and like, man, Austin's really, what we saw maybe all off season, and who knows if they were here last year. Man, he's gotten a lot better. Man, we should go back and look at the tape. And then you never know where it can go from there. And then there's teams that, heck, you got Alex Bullock. He's going to South Dakota State. You never know. I think it's, if I'm a player and I'm trying to, I guess, get noticed or whatever you want to call it, in this portal, playing in the spring game, you like to think it holds a little bit more weight than a practice. So, I'm all for it. And you know what? This 105 is probably fast forwarded some things, and or hopefully some other coaches, in other places, force them to rethink things. Now, I think Nebraska has a little bit bigger roster than maybe everybody else, across, just on average. But also I know that, maybe some other schools, maybe not this year, because I think Nebraska's spring game is one of the latest ones.
Yeah.
Next year that you think about doing it, doing something like this, because I mean, I've been on both sides of the coin. More importantly, at the pro side, fighting your way onto a roster. One of the first things that when I was a rookie, and we were in rookie mini camp, and then we went in. We had rookie mini camp, then it bowled right over. The veterans came in, but one thing, Wade Phillips and John Butler at the time, who was the GM, and all the other guys that were in the scouting department said, "Listen, we do what one thing Buffalo prided themselves on was playing the rookies a lot in the preseason game, just in case you didn't make this team or Buffalo, you'd have a lot of good tape." And Buffalo did something also unique. And I don't know if, Big Ten or the football is going to do this. They like to keep guys that they didn't keep on practice squad. Now, if there's eventually a practice squad, that'd be great, because you're kind of getting able to develop them. But that's not, we're not at that point. But more importantly, I've been on that side. So where I had to scrap and made the team based on that third or fourth preseason game. Me and Keon went down there and caused a fumble. And then, yes, we were inactive, but we were on the active roster. We were on the 53-man roster, or, we were on the 53-man roster. But then I've been on the other side where now at this point, the CBA was a little bit different, where the CBA kind of priced a lot of veterans out where you couldn't play for a little bit, like how they can play a little bit lower now in the numbers game. So, might be something, say like there's a player, who knows what age, say he's, had a little bit of an injury bug and just bad timing, and he wants to show whoever's watching or potentially go watch that he's back healthy, but it just doesn't fit here. I think it's good for the guys to get out there and play.
Which is more likely for college football? That they stick with a 105-man roster and add a, say, 10 to 15 player practice squad, or that college football goes down to a blanket active roster of 70, but the roster limit is 105, so your practice squad is essentially those bottom 35.
The first one. There's no way you could keep your roster at 70 and 30 be practice squad. No way. No way. I mean, because you got to think 12 to 14 of those roster spots are offensive linemen, unless you're going to put some guys down on practice squad. Now, those practice squad guys deemed practice squad but on scholarship, then you maybe so, because you're getting to the same number.
Right.
way.
Which is what I'm thinking, where if you have like 100, you have 105 player pool to pick from,
Yeah.
but you can only make 70 active for any
on
given
Sunday.
Saturday.
Yeah, I can see that happen. That'd be like kind of a pro model,
Right. Which then, do you add an IR to college football?
Yeah, and
where you
that's
can
where
stash some guys?
Yeah, you should be able to. I mean, if they're going to go that far in this, look at where it's going, you might as well try to adopt a college version of the NFL as far as roster limits, roster sizes, practice squad. But a lot of that stuff won't happen until, the players get unionized, because you want to be able to make sure that you're protected, because, a lot of then incentives, games that you're active go into it. Go into your incentive, and you're going to have escalators. So you want to make sure that you're protected from a union standpoint.
Let's go to a quote that Matt Rhule brought up. You said you've been on both sides of it in college and the NFL. Matt Rhule also talked about, college roster cuts versus NFL roster cuts. He's, beginning to see both sides of that. Here's Matt Rhule's about 2-minute answer on college roster cuts being more difficult than NFL roster cuts.
I think this is way harder. I mean, at the end of that, that's business, right? Like that's whatever. And those kids, if they get cut, they can get picked up by another school. Now, that's why we're telling them now, so if they want to get in the portal. But like, I just don't understand. In August, I'm going to walk into a kid and say, "Hey, thank you for everything. Thanks for training 7 days a week. That's for having your body weight at this. That's for the you can't be in the facility anymore." What I'm going to say, like, not like, oh, I can hang around and what. No, you can't be in the facility anymore. You're going to go from being on this football team for 2 years to being a regular student. And go sit in the stands, and they'll be sitting in the stands watching a game. Man. So while the narrative out there is, hey, this kid asked for this amount of money. I don't know. I'm talking about like nationally, right? There's all these national stories. I pay attention to those, and I understand this is a business. I like to talk about also, though, the Jacob Bowers and those kids that are just fighting for whatever. Because I don't care if you get one thing. If you get to eat in this cafeteria every day, you should be pretty grateful, right? And so, but it's going to be really hard. And this is the last time we'll actually be able to talk about it, because it's going to go into effect, and I'm not going to complain about something once it's changed. And I understand why they did it, but it's the human capital, it's the human effect that is unbelievable. That's why I didn't like coaching in the NFL. I love the players. The players looked at me like, "Oh God, here he comes!" Like I was the guy like deciding their futures, and I don't want that. I want to be there. Like I walk off practice today, and there's Elijah Judy's, wife and son. I'll go over. I like to play with Coda. I like to be talking about, guys' grades. I want to be, hey, we're cutting you. But so I've done it before. I've been a part of it. You become very dispassionate about the relationships with the players if you want to be really good at that. GMs and those guys, it becomes very transactional, and that's never been what the University of Nebraska is, and that's not been who I am. So. But this will be the only year we have to do it, I guess, right? After that, it'll be kind of set, and we'll adjust. But this first year will be really difficult.
There you have it from Matt Rhule, Jay.
It's tough, man. I mean, I don't envy him to be able to, go and have those conversations, or even conversations before where kids, when you go and say, say a kid wants to be here and maybe is played well, but just, hey, we got a 4-star coming in, and we already got, guy that's played, all that type. I mean, so those conversations hard then before this. The conversations become even harder when you get right to what he said is like before the season.
August. You've been there.
August. Yeah,
all winter, all spring, all summer.
Yeah, I've been there, man. I've been there where you, where you go through camp and this doesn't work out, and those type of conversations. Now, granted, I was a grown man then and was pretty, done pretty well and stuff, but it's still hard. I'm sure it's hard on that. Now in the NFL, they don't give a damn. They don't. They don't give a damn. Now you get some.
Not even one.
Not one. Now you get some guys that that I've maybe known through my dad and through the through my tenure, but that'll talk to you like off air and check in on you and stuff like that. But I think it's hard for a college coach to do that. Just in my opinion, I can't speak for anybody. Just because they recruit these kids, they know the parents and all that stuff. They know the kids. They spend a little bit more time, so they and they get to recruit them a lot more. Like I think like Coach Osborne came to my high school, Coach Young came. I came on a visit. Coach Brown sealed me, and that was it. Where I think whether it's unofficial or official visits or schools, and they and they go out for like weeks on a time, you get to see kids and they FaceTime and they talk all the time. We didn't have text, we barely could even talk to coaches. It's hard. And if you care about the players, whether you're a head coach, assistant coach, assistant coach, or whatever you are, it's tough, man, because you just never know. You know, you're on the front end of potentially ending somebody's journey in this game of football. It's a ruthless sport at times, man, and those conversations suck. And it probably sucks the first year more because you're at 130. So just if you had to do it tomorrow, there's 25 guys you got to at least have the conversation with, and that's not even counting anybody that you accumulate or maybe lose in the portal. So, you know, it's tough, man. Like I said, I don't know if, look, the easy thing is you pay a lot of money to make those or have those conversations. But you also, one thing I can respect about coaches that care is that you do make a lot of money, but you still care about your players. You know, one of the things I know we got to go to break is, remember hearing about Bill Walsh, before he passed away, where he called a lot of his players and mended some fences.
Yeah.
And a big part of it was they won a lot of, Super Bowl. They won a lot of games, number one. Both a great relationship as far as working relationship, as far as, those players and drafting and all that took, Bill Walsh and the 49ers to new heights and so forth and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But the personal relationship wasn't there. It was very transactional with him.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of his biggest regrets.
Yeah.
I think eventually, coaches get to the point to understand, all right, man, look, they probably would have played good anyways.
Right.
Did it have to be like that? And you know what? I think at that time, they had to be transactional. I think right now you can't be transactional because the players have too much power.
Which is funny because it's such a transactional landscape for college athletics right now.
Yeah.
With NIL. You can't be. You have to value relationships because that's how you get guys in the door, right? Is by not burning bridges. It's by being a school that cares about its guys and sets them up for success. And yet, while that is true, college athletics has never been more transactional than it is right now.
It is transactional, and it's got people shocked because players have a little bit more power. Now, we'll get into it maybe at the top of the 5 o'clock hour, where people say coaches have been doing this a long time. I don't agree with that. And there's the main reason is because there's a buyout. There is no buyout for these players. No. Now, I think the difference is these players are now opportunists, and so they're chasing every single dollar.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a sense of reality. But there's also some coaches out there that chase every single opportunity and dollar. But
either the players don't have a sense of reality and are chasing every single dollar, or they are realists and are realizing now is their moment to chase every single dollar while they have the chance.
Some players, if you're really getting overpaid and you know that you're really not that good, you could maybe,
you cash in now.
And say you get lucky enough to go to the NFL, then you might be able to walk away and just not, want to play anymore. I mean, heck, what's the dude, Blake Martinez, right?
Yeah.
He got into Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't feel like playing. I got $1 million worth of Pokemon cards. I don't need to ram it. And Chris Borland, the linebacker from Wisconsin, I think he was with the Chargers.
San Francisco.
Yeah, San Francisco. Right. Started as a rookie playmaker. So they got a little bit more power and stuff and more. I think the word of mouth aspect with social media, the ability to, if Austin's at Duke and I'm at Nebraska, you can get in contact with me and I can give it to you straight about that. So that's where there's a little bit more power there, but it's definitely a unique time. And the thing that's crazy is that nobody is stepping in to do anything.
Right.
Like substantial. I mean, the 105 is fine, and that's all based on money now.
Which might tell you that people are actually more okay with the system.
Listen,
if they're not trying to act on it and they're just going to talk bad about it, they're good with it.
Yeah, because one, you get clicks. Okay, so that's money. Number two, they making money. I always say like this: if they're paying you 4, they're making 8.
Yeah.
The owner, the one thing in the league, like in the NFL, they ain't never going to pay you something they can't afford.
Well, and they're according to league rules, capped at what they can pay you.
Right, but I'm saying if you're making like Aaron Rodgers making 30, 40 or whatever, what do you think them dudes upstairs are making?
300, 400.
Right. That is a drop in the bucket.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, heck, they're buying $1 billion franchises.
Yeah.
And you making 30 million. It's kind of.
You just kind of got to remember the dynamics.
It's chump change.
It
is. So,
We got to take our last break of the show. We'll be back to put a bow for On the Block after this.
Follow Austin Strick and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Canes with the man that started it all.
Wait, are you the Yes Chef guy?
Todd started this place 28 years ago with one goal in mind: making the best chicken fingers in the world. We got their famous box combo, chicken fingers, crinkle cut fries, Texas toast slaw, and their world famous cane sauce. Could shed a tear right now.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Your new Total Wine in Lincoln has the largest selection of wines, spirits, and beers, plus totally low prices and friendly service from our helpful guides. With over 8,000 wines, 4,500 spirits, and 2,500 beers, you're sure to find your favorites and something new. You can even order delivery, in-store, or curbside pickup. Find what you love what you find. Only at Total Wine and More. Now open in Lincoln next to Gateway Mall.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
League One Volleyball just wrapped up its first season in Omaha. The team returned home as league runners-up thanks to Olympic medalists and former Huskers Jordan Larson and Justine Wong-Arantes. Stay on the lookout for more action from more former Huskers, including Lexi Rodriguez, Lauren Stiffrins, and Maddie Kubik-Banks in Year 2. You can renew your season tickets or secure your seats for the first time by visiting lovboma.com. Don't miss your chance to watch even more Olympians, national champions, and former Huskers take the court for Love Volleyball Omaha in 2025. Volleyball is the next major league.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call today at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
93.7 The Ticket is your home for every Kansas City Royals baseball game. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and the rest of the Royals attempt to make the postseason for the second season in a row. And you can hear all the action on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Your home for Kansas City Royals baseball. Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Welcome back to On the Block, one final segment. Thanks to all the great sponsors who make On the Block possible, including the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese, Heartland of Nebraska Windows, who's based in Hallam with free estimates. Check them out online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. And Love Volleyball Omaha. Renew your season tickets or get your season tickets for the first time at lovboma.com. A couple different things here in quarterbacking. Jay, we'll start in college football. This is kind of wild. So in South Africa, there was an American pastor who was over there doing some mission work who was kidnapped at gunpoint while preaching a sermon. Okay. He's just over there preaching, kidnapped, gunpoint. They get him back. The rescue involved a shootout, apparently, according to WVIT news out of Knoxville. After being safely rescued, the article says Sullivan was taken to see his family, and then he began touching base with some back in East Tennessee. At Fellowship Baptist Church, where this pastor is from. The other pastor said one of the first things the kidnapped pastor heard from was about the Nico Yamaleva news. The first thing this guy that just survived a shootout in a kidnapping is concerned about is Nico Yamaleva leaving Tennessee. Don't tell me it doesn't mean more than the SEC.
Yeah. Yeah, he that was his last dying wish. Man, you got held at gunpoint. That's the last thing I'm thinking about.
First thing he was thinking about, though.
Yeah. I mean, them Tennessee fans are crazy.
Different.
It's a little different now, though, than I guess Nico's going to UCLA. They're talking about the offense.
Yeah, I'm skeptical on that one. But in the NFL, Jay, bring this one closer to home for you.
Oh, man, I can't. I'm reading this right now. Come on, AG.
Aaron Glenn.
He done got brand new, though.
Okay, let me read the Aaron Rodgers retelling of this story today from McAfee. Listen, that was an interesting 2 years to say the least, Aaron Rodgers said. I figured that when I flew across the country on my dime, there would be a conversation. The confusing thing to me is I went out there, I meet with the coach, Aaron Glenn. We start talking. He runs out of the room. I'm like, that's strange. Then Aaron Glenn comes back with the GM, and I'm like, all right. So we sit down, and I think we're going to have this long conversation. We're 20 seconds in. Aaron Glenn goes, you sure you want to play football? And I said, yes. And he said, we're going in another direction. Rodgers is mad. This is commentary now from Zach Rosenblatt. Rodgers is mad the Jets didn't just tell him on the phone rather than make him fly across the country. What's your boy Aaron Glenn doing up there, Jay? Is this the first time head coach rookie mistake?
If that's what he did, he dead wrong. He dead wrong. He feeling himself. Little AG, he feeled himself bad. Yeah,
little power trip?
He should know better than that. First of all, whether you like
He's a former
love
player.
Right. Like, love him or hate him, you know Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Fame. You can show him their respect. You could have picked up the phone and said, listen, I'm going to save you the flight over here. We're going to go in another direction. How can we help service? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to June 1 you. We'll put the smoke screens out there that nothing was wrong, and you want to go to a younger team. We're going to go younger into quarterback. I do understand that, flying across the country, because he's from California somewhere.
Yeah.
So he's from Northern California, right? So you fly to New York City, that's like 6-7 hour flight, and he flew on his own.
Yeah.
I'll be hot as fish grease. Heck, I was even hot. I went back to Buffalo and they traded me. And I was making peanuts. I was just mad at the cable because I just paid first and last month's rent. So I understand it.
But can't you see Aaron Rodgers being the type of guy that would, if you brought him in for this conversation, you made him fly all the way across the country, he'd say, oh, well, why didn't you just call me? But on the same time, being the guy that if you just called him, said, I'm a good enough player, why didn't you bring me in and have this conversation in my face?
Yes and no, but I think Aaron Rodgers, I'd like to think, I think he's also aware enough of, number one, the owner's still the owner. And you took a shot at him, and then you said his kid was the GM. So just on that alone, after a crappy season and you didn't play very well, you would probably think if you had to bet $1, 90% of chance you ain't coming back.
Right.
Number two, your salary cap number. They haven't tried to adjust that to say we can extend it to give us a little bit of salary cap relief in this year. So we had to, it'd be mutually parting ways and you'd probably end up retiring. And number four, why the hell would you want to go back to the Jets with a first-year coach? You know what I'm saying? As a 41-year-old veteran, where you know. So I do understand what you're saying, but also I think Aaron Rodgers doesn't have the reality. Like, you set yourself up for these type of things. Like, and I know he's saying that some people that are close to him have some, some stuff going on. And he's got a new personal relationship off the field. I understand that's respectable, but whether you want to play football or not.
Yeah.
So you told Aaron Glenn and them you want to play football. So why haven't you told Pittsburgh and them you want to play football?
Right.
And the reason why Minnesota probably punted on it is because you didn't seem like these teams, business has to go on. Once you commit to a team, they can work with you around your schedule.
But you got to commit first.
Right.
But Aaron Glenn, man, he's different apparently. Changed it
He's
up.
brand new though. When I've seen him where he's talking about, listen, you ain't gonna get AG now. Come on now. You in New York, you need to settle down. Okay, it's great that you went from Detroit. Get your little butt in there and just make sure you can score some points.
New York's about the city, not about you, man.
Listen, man. AG is feeling himself, man. He always was. I just felt like he a little DB. They different.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got brand new a little bit. Wait till I see him, man. I gotta see him, man.
Set him
I heard
straight.
he ain't returning no text message from people though,
including yours truly. Yeah.
No, I ain't texted him yet. But I just heard though from the
You're not going to text him until you know he's getting back to people.
that part, because the text I was sending, if you don't respond to me,
worse than the first one.
might get blocked.
That's Jay Foreman. I'm Austin Norman. Stick with us. We got Old School coming up in a sec.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy